Hey guys, welcome back. This is Off Track Part 3 and final. Before we get into the video, I wanted to talk about a few things first. As you know, I had a boring head failure in the last video. I want to talk about that a little bit. And I also had a little issue with pressing that sleeve in, how it got a little hard in the end, but it did go in with not too much ease, but it went in. I want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about all the support I received on these two videos so far on this tractor wheel. Lots of good stuff, man. I have never done this before. So I got some really good advice at people that are really good at this kind of stuff. I'm happy with the results. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do it a different way. I want to talk about that. So let's talk about the boring head failure first. I picked this Criterion DBL-202 on eBay about 2 or 3 years ago. Ever since I had it, it was always a little, it was never really smooth when you were adjusting out to increase the diameter of your hole. So I just thought maybe it needed a good cleaning. So I took it apart, cleaned it, and it still felt a little rough. Well, after about using it 3 or 4 times is when it failed in part 2 of this video. And what had happened is there was only about 4 or 5 threads left on that adjusting, that fine adjust wheel. So it basically had pulled the threads out so it wouldn't adjust anymore. So it was obviously a factory defect is what I'm thinking, because I can't even imagine, even if the locking screws were screwed down, you shouldn't have been able to pull out those threads. And it's about 48 threads per inch. They're pretty fine, maybe even finer. So what I had to do is I contacted Criterion, and they are no longer in business. They were bought out by Allied Machine and Engineering Corp. And all good. You know, I talked to a repair technician. He said package it up, send it in. He'll give me an RMA number. So I sent it in. I didn't hear back from him for like 2 weeks. Finally, he calls me on the phone yesterday, and he said, hey Ray, sorry it took so long. We've been really busy here. We've had your boring head now for a couple weeks. We had a chance to look at it. You could contact Johnston Industrial for the quote. So I was a little confused. I'm like, why do I need to contact Johnston Industrial? Well, he said because they're a local distributor in your area, and you have to go through them for repairs and quotes. I said, I'm a little confused about this because you had me send this into you with return shipping, and now you're wanting me to go through Johnston Industrial for the repair or for the quote. So basically, he goes, yeah, I can't deal with you direct because you're not a distributor for Allied Machine. Or actually their subsidiary called Criterion Allied. So anyway, long story short, I contact Johnston Industrial, and he goes, yeah, I received this quote from them. And he goes, I'm kind of confused over the whole thing. And I explained the situation to him. He goes, hey Ray, don't worry about it, man. He goes, I know you buy stuff from us. You know, I'll do the deal straight across the board for you if I can. So I was like, fine. I was like, all right. I think the gentleman's name was Jesse. And he goes, dude, this thing's like $250 to repair. I'm like, you're kidding me. I said, I didn't even pay that for it when it was in fairly new condition. So he goes, you know, let me see if I have some other options for you. He goes, I'll get back to you later in the week. So I'll give you an update on where we are with that. But long story short, this company here, Allied Machine, is who bought Criterion. If you're an individual hobby guy like me, they have to deal through a distributor for you to do the work. So anyway, next thing, the spline sleeve. There's 3 big issues that I'll do differently this time. For one, I want everyone to know that I only have a 5-ton press. I use it for building AKs, pressing AK barrels and stuff like that. So it's plenty sufficient for that. But for this, it's getting a little out of its capabilities. For one, when I was pressing this sleeve in, it kind of ran out of a little oomph, and then it finally went in. So I got a lot of recommendations and suggestions in freezing the sleeve. Lots of good stuff there. I'll try that next time. I was only 1 thou over on my bore, so it should have went in smoothly the entire way, and it didn't. The last 1/4 inch or so was a little rough. So anyway, that was one thing, and two, I think I know why the welding wasn't so good. This sleeve has a coating on it. I don't know what this coating is, but it doesn't wipe off, and what I should have done is sanded it off, because that's what contaminated my weld. I thought about it for a while, and that's the only thing I could come up with, because I wiped everything down with acetone. There was no oil. There shouldn't have been no contamination, unless it was inside of the cast steel of this wheel. The only other contaminant could have been the coating on this. Now, if that would contaminate a weld, I could understand it. At least I know what happened. And next time I'll take this coating off. The other big issue is I should not have had to board this the entire way. So next time I'm either going to get a larger diameter end mill and or drill bit, drill it first, and then just final bore it. It'll save a lot of time. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for all the support, suggestions, recommendations, and processes of how to do this. And when I do the next one, it'll go a lot smoother. So anyway, I think I covered everything I wanted to. Anyway, the next several video clips of the Agricat wheel being completed. Thanks. As a recap, our tractor wheel was bored, spline sleeve pressed in, chamfered both sides here for welding, and now we're at the point where we're ready to weld up the sleeve to the tractor wheel. Maybe touch up some of these little gaps just for aesthetic reasons. So let's get set up to weld. Oh, hey, Ernie.
We don't have any mail yet. Damn mail.
No, she hasn't come yet.
Usually on Saturdays they come early. Sure is this time. Oh, you're making on film, huh?
little porosity in the weld, and I'm not really sure why. It could have pulled oil in from something, but I cleaned everything really good first, so who knows. Anyway, I'll clean this up a little bit to where I can set it flat. We'll weld the other side. Yeah, it's got to be pulling oil up from somewhere. That's a shitty weld. Oh well, I'm just going to have to weld through it, man. Clean up the mess, maybe touch it up. Okay guys, not the prettiest weld. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the ugliest welds. Anyway, I did get pulled some of the porosity out, and I got a nice good weld bead. It's filled in there, so let's slap it on the mill, clean it up, and call this one done. And I think my buddy Grant's going to be a happy camper, man. He'll get his Agricat on the road, actually on his property, not the road, and maybe get some things done. Anyway, let's move over to the mill. I'll get set up and bring you back. Okay, I got it true to the world, and let's make some cleanup cuts. See how she goes. I'm leaving about 3/1000ths on there for a final cut. The weld bed looks nice and filled in there. I see a little porosity, but nothing that's going to hurt this. I sped the speed up to 300 for this final cut, so it's leaving a little better finish. To point out, I know I had this wheel true to the world, and it looks like this hub actually was not true, because I got a little tiny bit, I'd say about 1/4 thou lip of the weld bead to where the original hub was, but the rest of it had contact with the end mill cutter, So anyway, I guess that's why you true up your work, right? I'll get it flipped over and we'll true up on the inside of that other side. Okay, I got it flipped over and true to the world again. I'm going to switch out to a 3/4 inch end mill. All right, I'm going to just wiggle around in here and clean this up the best I can without hitting the sides. So just going to try to be a little careful. I'm going to knock down the high stuff first. So here we go. Sorry if my arm's in the way. I don't like how this 3/4 inch end mill's cutting, so I'm going to switch out to a, I think I have a carbide 1/2 inch, and it might work out a little better. So let me get that changed out. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. Switched out to the 1/2 inch carbide, and let's see if it acts a little better. As Tom would say, let's see if it behaves. Oh yeah, much better. Way better. So I'll play Etch-a-Sketch here, and I won't bore you with all these Etch-a-Sketch details, and I'll just bring you in when I'm getting close to the final cuts. Okay, this should be our final cleanup cut. Guys, that end's done. I'm going to get it out off the mill onto the table and get my sanding disc and just clean it up and call this one good, man. Chamfer those sharp edges and then I'll show you some shots of it when it's complete. Okay guys, finished product. I chamfered this edge right here because it was a little sharp. This doesn't need to be tapered because this is the outside. A locking washer goes over this, and then there's a big fine thread bolt that locks this onto here. As you know from the previous video, I welded all this in. I got a little porosity in here. It's just kind of shit steel and my shitty welding. I'm no Jody, that's for damn sure. Anyway, this is pressed in pretty tight, as you saw in the last video. It's welded up real good. The weld bed looks great. I have a little porosity here and a little unevenness here that's now flat and true. Let me flip it around and I'll show you how this actually locks up to the axle. Okay, this is the back side, or the inside part of the hub. And basically this area here, this is just a dust cover, basically, that goes over and another piece of steel that's sticking out, and there's lots of clearance in here. This was rounded, but I cut into it with the end mill a little bit, no big deal. This is already cut on an angle, and what this does is this locks up against the splines on the axle, and this is what actually stops this wheel from going all the way on, is right here. This taper there's a taper on the axle and there's a taper here, and that taper locks up together. And then when you tighten up the nut and locking washer on the outside, it pushes up against that taper and locks it on rigidly. So anyway, there you go. There's a lot of porosity in here, but for the most part, the weld bed is pretty full. Man, this sucker's not going anywhere. If I had to do it all over again, which I may have to do the other one in the near future, I'm going to try to get a big end mill and or drill bit and drill it out and just bore it. Press the sleeve in and weld it. I did clean this up really good with acetone and a wire brush, but it still pulled oil from somewhere. I wiped this whole thing down. So anyway, I did the best I could. I'm not an expert. Remember, I'm a hobby guy, and I'm really proud of the way this turned out. I'm happy with it, and I know Grant's going to be very happy with it because he's going to get his tractor back on the field. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, man, and we'll see you real soon.